This is one of the most supportive shoes you can buy right now. But here's the thing, just because it's supportive doesn't mean that it's actually comfortable. And it definitely doesn't mean that it's good for running. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly who the Brooks Beast GTS 26 is for, who should avoid it, and how it compares to other stability shoes from the Brooks range, because this one is a bit different. So this is the Beast GTS 26. And if you're looking at the women's version, it's called the Ariel GTS 26. Now straight away, this is not your typical running shoe. This is built for one thing, maximum support. So let's quickly run through the specs. You've got a 12mm drop, which is on the high side. It weighs about 418 grams in a US size 12. So yeah, it's a heavy shoe. The cushioning is Brooks DNA Loft V3, which is nitrogen injected. But I'll be honest, it doesn't feel soft, it doesn't feel bouncy, and you're not getting much energy return either. So it's a very firm, stable ride. And the first thing that you notice when you put this on is how solid it feels. Not soft, not plush, just solid. And for some people, that's exactly what they want. But for others, it's going to feel quite harsh. So underfoot, this is all about control. You've got a mild rocker through the shoe, which is not very aggressive. The forefoot is also pretty stiff, so you're not getting a smooth rolling sensation like you would in something more modern. And then at the heel, you've got a very posterior heel bevel. And what that means is when your heel hits the ground, it's quite abrupt and a little bit clunky, especially if you're walking longer distances or you're trying to run in this. Now stability is where the shoe really stands out, because stability is the whole point of this shoe. You've got guide rails built into the midsole, which basically help guide your foot as you move, and you really feel them, especially through the arch. There are quite prominent sidewalls in there, so your foot feels very contained. You've also got a very wide base of support, and I mean one of the widest bases of support I've seen on any shoe in the last few years, particularly through the forefoot. There's a lot of sole flare on the lateral side of the forefoot, which gives you extra stability when you're pushing off. So that's where the cushioning comes out wider than where your foot sits in the shoe. So overall, this feels extremely stable underfoot, but that level of stability isn't going to suit everyone. So who is this shoe actually for? This is ideal if you want maximum support, especially if you're walking. If you're someone who feels unstable in softer shoes, or you want something that feels really planted to the ground, this does that very well. You've got a wide base, good arch support, and solid lateral stability throughout the forefoot. So if you're dealing with instability, or you just want something that feels more secure, and you need something that helps with your balance, this ticks those boxes. And one thing I actually like about this shoe is the lateral support, because most stability shoes focus on providing support on the inner aspect of the foot only, but this shoe gives your foot support on the inside and the outside throughout the whole gait cycle. So if you're someone who struggles with supination movements, or you feel like your ankle rolls outwards, this can be an excellent option. But there are some downsides with this shoe, and I'll be honest, this is not a running shoe for most people. Even though it's marketed as one, you can see that on Brooks' website, but it's just too firm. There's very little bounce, very little energy return. And when you combine that with the weight, it just feels slow. Then you've got that heel, which feels quite clunky when you land. When you start to pick up the pace, it doesn't feel smooth. It doesn't feel natural, and it definitely doesn't feel efficient. Now the fit is a little bit confusing, because on one hand you have a very wide shoe. The platform is wide, the base is wide, but then in the toe box, it's a slightly narrow to normal fit. Now compared to something like the Brooks Ghost Max 3, it actually has a wider base than that, but the toe box is far narrower. Now Brooks advertised this shoe as orthotics friendly, but from my perspective, it's certainly not as orthotic friendly as what we see in the Ghost Max 3. And the cushioning, I'll describe it as stable, and that's it. Not fun, not soft, not responsive, just stable. And for some people, that's fine, because if you're expecting comfort or a little bit of bounce, you're probably not going to get that here. And one other thing to be aware of is that if you have a rigid flat foot, you may not enjoy the firmness of this cushioning combined with that arch support, as it might just cause some friction, rubbing and discomfort in the arch of your foot. Now if we compare this to something like the Brooks Adrenaline GTS 25, they're actually very different shoes. The Adrenaline is about 129 grams lighter, it has a slightly lower drop, it's more flexible through the forefoot, and even though it uses very similar cushioning in the DNA Loft V3, it's much more responsive underfoot. It feels more natural because of a different geometry underneath the shoe, and it's much better suited to running. So really, when you're looking at the two shoes, you're choosing between two things. Are you looking for maximum support or a stability shoe that's more usable? The Beast gives you maximum support, but really it's more of a walking shoe. The Adrenaline is much more versatile, it can be used for walking and running. So overall, the Beast GTS 26 is a very specific shoe. If you want maximum stability, a wide planted base, and something that feels very controlled, it does that really well. But if you're looking for more comfort, something to run in, then this probably isn't the shoe for you. If you're deciding between this and another stability shoe, drop a comment below. I'll help you choose the right one. And if you want to see the best stability shoes of the year, I've got that comparison coming up in the next few weeks. We've also got a monthly newsletter with regular updates on shoe releases and what shoes we'd recommend for walking that are currently on sale. You can sign up to that in the description below. And finally, if you watch our videos but you haven't subscribed, please do, as a single thing you can do for free that really helps the channel. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching.